Hey, what's up you guys? This is Rob from A Gay Guy Plays, and today on The Quick Draw, it's all about getting into bodily fluids when we take a look at a classic, the Acrid. Now, as we know, the Acrid got a big throbbing shaft when Damage 2.0 ran through town and utterly obliterated armor-ignoring damage types. It quickly went from one of the top-tier weapons in game to just another hit-it-and-quit-it piece of mastery fodder. However, with the recent update, I wanted to take a look at the mechanics and damage scaling to see if there was something worth salvaging. Now, you can pick up the Acrid's blueprints for 15,000 credits in the biolab of your clan dojo after you've completed research on the Torrid. Just note that it will cost you 1 forma and requires Mastery Rank 7 to craft. Now, this is a clan research exclusive, so for all my wallet warriors out there, I'm sorry, but you won't be able to pick this one up in the market. Now, the Acrid's base damage is Toxin, which isn't half bad on its own merit, as it deals bonus damage to Ferrite armor, Corpus Flesh, Proto Shielding, and completely bypasses basic shielding. However, when combined with Electric, you can use Corrosive to take down Fossilized Infested, as well as Corrupted Heavy Gunners and Ancients in the Void. Okay, so for those of you who aren't aware, the Acrid is a projectile-based dart gun. However, unlike many other projectile-based weapons, its darts do not drop or arc when traveling longer distances. While its projectiles do have a flight time, its accuracy sits at 100%. It also has a fairly quick fire rate and reload speed. However, even after its recent buff, all of its supplementary stats are fairly low, with its critical chance sitting at 5% and its status chance at 10. Now, on paper, this doesn't really seem like it should be a Mastery Rank 7 weapon. But, as we know, you can't judge a book by its cover. Unless it's porn, then you probably got a pretty good idea what's going on under there. Now, the Acrid has one very unique mechanic that allows it to ramp up large amounts of damage over time. Each shot fired will trigger a Toxin proc. Regardless of the elements that are equipped to the weapon, this dot will deal 50% of the weapon's modified damage in Toxin damage instantly and every second for 8 seconds. So counting just the initial tick of the Toxin proc that occurs the second its projectile strikes a target, it takes this weapon's base damage from a low 35 to a respectable 52.5. One more second and that dart doubles its damage, and then the ramping begins. If allowed to linger for its full duration, its base damage goes from 35 to 192.5. Now clearly, a majority of your targets aren't going to live that long, but for those that do, this can be absolutely devastating after you've pumped them full of your juice. So while that sounds pretty cool, there is a bit of a downside. The Toxin proc only works off of your modified base damage, which means that only Hornet Strike and Magnum Force will affect it. Side note, don't use Magnum Force on this, it completely borks the accuracy, like a lot worse than you'd expect. This means that all the bonus elemental damage you add won't actually be of any benefit to the Toxin proc itself. And speaking of the Toxin proc, it's a Toxin proc, meaning that its element is unmodifiable. In some cases, it's good because it can bypass normal shielding and has a little bonus to Ferrite armor. But beyond that, the damage over time can't really take advantage of many other weaknesses, which I guess is a good way of keeping this weapon from being overpowered. Now, speaking of balance, can we talk? So when I started scripting for the Acrid, I really got to thinking, the Acrid just isn't nasty enough. It doesn't look like a turd, doesn't shoot out projectiles that look like herpes, and doesn't spray semen all over the place. However, I came to the conclusion that the Acrid is just the right amount of nasty. It's the kind of nasty that you wouldn't be embarrassed to take home to mama. Mainly because of the fact that she'd probably confuse it with a lava lamp, but that's beside the point. The Acrid wears its nastiness on the inside. You might catch a glimpse of it occasionally, but you'll never really get the full effect until you put your finger on the trigger, if you know what I mean. Because let's face it, regardless of whether they're a he or she or anything in between, the last thing you want to do is wake up next to the human version of the Torrid. I mean seriously, while nasty is good, the difference between the two is like business casual or straight out of a bukkake. So while getting a little dirty is great, take a lesson from the Acrid and keep it on the inside, at least until it's appropriate. Alrighty, let's get back to the quick draw. So all in all, while the Acrid doesn't necessarily live up to its glory days, it's definitely still a valid weapon to take into mid and early late game. It's even arguable that with the right frame and weapon build, the Acrid can single-handedly run through non-ramping T4 missions. I personally had a ton of fun using this to farm practically every boss in game, including Corrupted Vor. However, I will say that due to the fact that it costs you a forma to build and comes with no polarities whatsoever, the Acrid is a bit hard to get into. But if you've gotten bored of your current lineup, there's nothing cooler than watching health bars plummet in a cloud of numbers. So thank you all for watching another episode of The Quick Draw. If you haven't caught it, be sure to check out my 3-way with Valkyr and my debunk on the elemental combos in the Void. Don't forget to do the thing that I asked you to do at the end of every one of these, and as always, stay tuned for the right amount of nasty here at A Gay Guy Plays. Oh god, not this again. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me right now?